Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and today we're reviewing for you Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection on the Nintendo Switch 2. This review was originally written by the wonderful Ollie Reynolds and has been adapted for video by me, which means that all the footage you're seeing is, it's my gameplay. And I'm gonna be honest, I suck at these games. I love them, but I suck at them. You've been warned. But anyway, that's more than enough waffling. Let's dive right into things. Digital Eclipse doesn't do things by halves. It's already proven this with the likes of Atari 50 The Anniversary Celebration and Tetris Forever, and yet we're still blown away by what this studio has accomplished with Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. For years, fans have been begging for a compilation of the original Mortal Kombat trilogy, and whilst many might have been satisfied with just the original arcade variants on modern platforms, much like 2011's Arcade Collection, Digital Eclipse went several steps further. Here, we've got a total of 23 playable titles, covering the first 11 years of Mortal Kombat with just a few notable exclusions. It's an impressive achievement, and with an extensive accompanying documentary detailing Mortal Kombat's inception and evolution, it's easily the ultimate celebration of Midway's gruesome fighting series. Some glaring issues, however, become apparent once you go online, but we'll get onto that in a bit. The original trilogy is represented across several platforms, including arcade, SNES, Mega Drive, 32X, PS1, Game Boy, and Game Gear. And in what can only be described as a remarkable feat of preservation, the WaveNet version of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 is also playable, having previously been limited to test sites and thus considered lost media. Adding in Noob Saibot as a playable character and rebalancing the gameplay further, the WaveNet version did much more than simply introduce online play, and its inclusion here is frankly nothing short of a miracle. In addition to the original trilogy, we've also got the arcade release of Mortal Kombat 4, the PS1 monstrosities Mythology, Sub-Zero, and Special Forces, and the GBA releases of Mortal Kombat Advance, Deadly Alliance, and Tournament Edition. In terms of exclusives, certain platforms for specific titles are missing, including the Mega Drive's version of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, the N64's Mortal Kombat 4, and others besides. Perhaps most notably, an updated release of Mortal Kombat 4 for Dreamcast, dubbed Mortal Kombat Gold, is also absent. It is difficult, though, to lament missing releases when the existing lineup here is just so flippin' impressive. Much like Tetris Forever and Worms Armageddon Anniversary Edition, though, we could see Digital Eclipse adding more variations and titles as DLC later down the line. If your favorite game isn't here, we'd advise you not to lose all hope just yet unless the studio says otherwise. Their official word on their FAQ page is, "We have nothing to announce right now, but we're open to the idea." Each game offers up a variety of different display options, including various different screen sizes, filters, and backgrounds. And whilst we'd normally disable the backgrounds completely on retro compilations like this, we would actually urge you to leave them on in this instance. The arcade variants in particular are really cool, and the glass displays quote-unquote reflecting the in-game action on the left and right sides of the screen is just the cherry on top. Meanwhile, the console versions come with a CRT background and filters, offering up a flat screen and curved screen displays. And the handhelds have all the filters you'd expect, with original, pocket, and light Game Boy variants. Most of the games have training modes with a separate mode dedicated to fatalities, including babalities and friendships and the like. And these aren't present on every single entry, but the know-how from the arcade versions is directly transferable to the console edition, so you don't need it on everything. Even in normal arcade mode, you can toggle on-screen prompts for special moves, so it's a good way to get acquainted with the basic gameplay, even if it doesn't include combo launcher tutorials. Ultimately, yes, these are old games that may require a bit of adjustment for newcomers. Hell, the latest release here is from 2003, which is 2 decades ago. To anyone who grew up with Mortal Kombat in the 90s, playing most of these will be like slipping into a warm, comfortable bath that may or may not be filled with blood. They feel just like they did back in the day, with the iconic stage music, character select music, and punctuating echoing screams of fatality and get over here, enough to make any fan just giggle with glee. But for those who have never touched anything older than Mortal Kombat 11, they might take a bit of getting used to. The devs are investigating an issue in which lowering the difficulty actually makes little to no difference to the often punishing AI, but even taking this into account, these are tough games whichever way you slice them, and the archaic movement exacerbates this if you're coming into it blind. If you're really struggling, of course, then local multiplayer is an option, and this feels just as fun as ever with a couple of friends and a few bevies. Like Digital Eclipse's recent offerings, Legacy Collection includes a full timeline chronicling the inception and development of the series, inserting playable versions of each game at relevant intervals. So if you struggle to just pick up and play a couple of rounds, or you're getting squished to death by yet another trap in Mythology's Sub-Zero, viewing the context in which these games were made should help you better appreciate their quirks, and thus encouraging you to keep playing, unless it's Mythology's Sub-Zero. The interactive documentary is absurdly in-depth. It's filled to the brim with documents, photos, interviews, and archival footage, with appearances from the likes of Andrea Renee, Michael Drucker, Eugene Jarvis, and many more besides. It covers how prior games like Smash TV influenced the original Mortal Kombat, whilst investigating the legal issues that eventually led to the creation of the ESRB rating system. We even get to see series co-creator Ed Boon spontaneously pitch Scorpion's rope dart move during an early performance capture session, and it's a rare glimpse into how seemingly off-the-cuff decisions result in series-defining iconography. If this is all you're after from Legacy Collection, if you're interested primarily in the history and the contextual material and seeing Boone and Tobias in the same room discussing the genesis and trajectory of the series, then it's an absolute must-buy at launch and stands as one of Digital Eclipse's best retro compilations yet. If, however, you're keen to play these games online, then we'd recommend holding off for at least a little while. It's a mess. For starters, the only option available at online play at launch is Quick Play, which matches you with a random opponent once you've selected your chosen title. So there are no options for public or private lobbies yet, and this instantly makes Legacy Collection unviable for tournaments, which in the fighting game community is pretty much a death knell. Thankfully, they are coming and should be available within just a handful of weeks after launch, but this is nevertheless a disappointment for those keen to get stuck in at launch. What likely isn't coming, however, is crossplay, which in the year of 2025 is a bit of a sting. Digital Eclipse has cited the complexity around introducing such a feature and ensuring same-system matchmaking is working well. Quick Play isn't even close to ideal. You can spend a lot of your time waiting to just actually find a match. And once it does, there are frankly glaring issues with input delay and audio on most of the titles. The audio is particularly dreadful, with garbled and stuttering music and sound effects. The severity of this ranges from mildly irritating to just downright unplayable, and yes, our connection was absolutely fine and stable and strong throughout. We're fairly confident that in time these issues will be ironed out, and with the eventual introduction of lobbies, online play for Legacy Collection might well ultimately stand proud next to the likes of Street Fighter 6 and Guilty Gear Strive on Switch 2, but for now at least, it's just simply not up to scratch. If you're getting this at launch, we'd recommend really taking your time with the documentary timeline. Really soak it in, because it's an absolute delight. Hopefully, when you're done, you might be ready for online play. With a total of 23 playable games alongside a comprehensive interactive documentary providing details behind the series' development, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection is yet another triumph for Digital Eclipse from the historical compilation perspective. It's full of nostalgia for fans who ripped spines out of their opponents back in the 90s, and the perfect way for complete newcomers to see what all the fuss is about. If, however, you're keen to play these games online, then you're best off waiting. Essential features are absent at launch, and even if you do manage to find a game through Quick Play, chances are it'll be plagued with input delay and audio issues. Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, you're getting a 7 out of 10 from us. Now that we're done with the review, it's time for Alex's personal thoughts, and as I mentioned at the start, I love these games, but I am not good at them. As a result, I don't really feel qualified to talk about the quality of the games themselves, and how well they play compared to the original versions. The one that I had the most experience with was Mortal Kombat 3 on DOS, so take that as you will. But I will say that it's an absolute delight to see this many Mortal Kombat games crammed in, although Just as Ollie said, there's some weird omissions here and there, like the DOS version of Mortal Kombat 3. To be honest, the interactive documentary is easily my favorite part. I just absolutely love going through these things and finding out all the little sort of twiddly bits and interesting little tidbits of information about game development and just how these games came to exist. It's always super interesting to me how different game development was back in the day compared to now, and even then, I don't know huge amounts about how it's done these days. It feels a little bit like stepping back in time, and that's a really special thing. It's only going to work for people who were familiar with the games, back in the 90s when they first came out, but if that's you, I don't really see how you can go wrong with this. Yes, admittedly, the online isn't great. Even someone like me who is not good at the games can tell that there's something definitely very wrong with the online, but I'm sure they're going to get it sorted. I mean, maybe hold off for the moment. Just if that's like your primary thing, you want to play these games online, just hold off for the time being, but I'm sure they'll get it sorted. It is a shame that there isn't going to be any crossplay coming, or at least that's the current word, but I'm sure if you're a fan of the series, you'll still find plenty to love here.